you are in the Capital Regional District, you have probably come across 49 Below ice cream. It is known for unusual flavors and the fact that you can get it delivered right to your door. But starting this weekend, you will also be able to get a scoop or two of flavors like Hawkins Cheesies at a storefront in Oak Bay. I met up with founder Dan Edler and started by asking him how it all began.
We started as basically an ice cream subscription service where we would deliver pints straight to our consumers, and now we're in this 1,000 square foot location where we're pumping out a lot of ice cream.
Is it kind of scary?
It's definitely, some aspects are terrifying, but I think from what we've seen and the customers that are kind of knocking in the window and kind of peering in all the time, I think we're going to be okay. So.
How did you become an ice cream maker?
It's a bit of a roundabout way. I was working for the BC government, and during a trip to Europe, my wife and I were sitting down while eating some gelato, and we were talking about like where our lives were going to go and what we wanted to do in the future. And I was not really happy with where my government trajectory was going, so my wife suggested, well, why don't you do something completely different? And we were eating ice cream, and we kind of stumbled on, why don't you make ice cream? You like to cook, you like to play with flavors, and why not try something like that? So when we got home, I pulled out the little ice cream maker and started producing, and here we are. So,
what was the first flavor you made?
The first flavor I made was Vietnamese coffee, and that's one that's been around since day one. It's I took a trip after university to all throughout Asia, and that was one of those flavors that I couldn't stop thinking about. And I love Vietnamese coffee, and it lends itself really well to ice cream. So that was the first one.
You've got one on the wall right now that other people have mentioned to me about you. 49 Below, they're the guys who do Hawkins Cheesies flavor.
Right.
How did you decide to do that?
So that was one of those coincidences where we had to come up with something, and I was looking through my pantry and I came across our beautiful bag of Hawkins Cheesy, and I'm like, why not try it? And that's the beautiful thing with ice cream, like your base is the base that we use for pretty much all our flavors, and then you can go any direction. You can go savory, you can go sweet, you can go however you want. So when we saw that bag of cheesies, we thought, let's grind it up, let's steep it and see what happens. And it turned out amazing. Like it really infuses like a tea would into water. The flavor of the cheese is really infused into our base, and you get this little bit salty, a little bit sweet, and very cheesy flavor.
One of the things about your subscription service is people don't always know what flavor they're getting, right?
Yeah.
What do people hope for when you show up at the door?
Yeah, that's a good point. So we always do two flavors. One of them is our staple flavor, so it's like vanilla or chocolate. But then the other one is usually a seasonal flavor, and it's the nice thing with our subscribers is like we can always try things on them and see what they think, and then hopefully once we get their thumbs up, we can migrate it into the store. So yeah, people have lots of expectations, and we try to always meet them. So
how often do you have a flavor that's just a dud that you'll never do again?
So I think over the since 2015, there's definitely one that stands out. It was a maple pancake flavor. That was a miss. But other than that, I think everything's been pretty well received. So there's some that the texture might be a little bit off, and we can improve things here and there. But I think for the most part, we're pretty good with our flavors.
When you were sitting in that cafe or eating gelato with your wife, going, I don't know, man, can I do it? Can I take this risk? Would you have imagined this?
No, and that's one thing. Like, when especially when I was at university, I kind of had a vision of where my life was going to go, and it would not involve me sitting in an ice cream shop. But yeah, no, I still pinch myself when like somebody sees me wearing my sweatshirt and it's like, oh, 49 Below, I've heard of you, or I've tried it and I really love it. Like that just blows my mind. Like to see people actually having your product, enjoying your product, knowing about your product, it's really cool to see.
What was your favorite flavor when you were a kid?
So I grew up in Austria, and in Austria there's a lot of like influences from Italian flavors. So pistachio was like always one I really liked. Hazelnut, and yogurt. Yogurt was always like a go-to flavor when I was a kid. I don't know. I like the tanginess, and But I don't see yogurt flavors. I've never seen it here, so it's one of the things that's on our massive list of flavors we want to try.
So this is yogurt flavored ice cream, not frozen yogurt.
That's right. Yeah, it's yogurt flavored ice cream.
How long is that list of things you want to try?
It's pretty extensive. My team and I, we recently took a trip to Vancouver, and we spent pretty much the whole time on the ferry in the cafeteria making lists of ice cream flavors we want to try. And we kind of separate them in different groups. It's like nuts or chocolate or whatever, but the list is quite long. So we never run out of inspiration, but if people out there have some good flavors they want to share, please hit us up.
Okay, that makes me think, if you were thinking about this on the ferry, is there a triple O sauce experiment coming our way?
Well, that's definitely something we could try. Speaking of sauces, like one we did for, it was kind of an April Fool's joke, but it actually turned out really well. We did Root Cellar's green sauce, the infamous green sauce. We needed to do something for April Fools, and I was like, why don't we try this? And we put it in ice cream, and again, it was amazing. Like cilantro-y, jalapeno-y. It's got a little bit of spice to it, but it was a really good flavor.
Are you going to have some surprise flavors when you open up here?
So right now we've got the Hawkins cheesies on the menu for the weekend. So what we've got on the board right now, that's what we're going to go for the beginning, but we'll be rotating flavors in pretty regularly.
Will you be keeping up subscriptions then, now that you've got a store open?
The plan is to keep that up. The subscriptions are a lot of fun to do, but it's a ton of work. So we deliver from Langford all the way out to Sydney and everything in between, and that's a lot of driving, and it's a lot of managing time, and because we have a product that you can't just leave outside, so we always have to coordinate with our consumers to make sure that somebody's home to receive the little package. So it's a lot of work, and we're wondering if we should just pivot to like a pickup model versus a delivery model, but we definitely do we enjoy doing it, and we hope to keep it up.
Well, listen, thanks so much for taking the time to speak with us.
I appreciate you coming down and taking a look.
Dan Edler owns 49 Below Ice Cream. I met up with him at their brand new storefront location in Oak Bay on Cadborough Bay Road at Estevan. They open on Friday.